Did you know that you can drive a woman wild without even touching her? That's not all. You can get her hot, bothered by simply using your words the right way. Here's what you need to know. You see, the most powerful sexual organ in a woman is her brain. The female brain holds the ultimate triggers for a woman's sexual desire and sex drive, and by using your words correctly, you can get her obsessed. In today's video, we're going to be showing you 10 flirty sentences to help you do just that. You and I are not going to get along. This kind of phrase portrays you as a man who's not going to bend to her, but will more importantly, be sexually suggestive. 2. Excite a woman with your words. Engaging in sexually suggestive conversations can be very effective. However, many men struggle with striking the right balance between being sexually charged and avoiding coming off as creepy or desperate. The key to successfully sexually charged conversations is subtlety. In the early stages of getting to know a woman, it's important to be subtle and indirect about your sexual intentions. Everything should be implied or suggested rather than being explicitly stated. Once you've established a sexual relationship, you can be more direct and obvious. Every woman has unique reasons for feeling uncomfortable when conversations become sexual too quickly. It's important to remember that women do not just want to feel like they're being pounced on or objectified. So you can use subtle phrases like this, along with small gestures to help build sexual tension without making the woman feel uncomfortable or ashamed. 2. You're hitting on the wrong guy. You have to follow this one up by pointing to a really funny guy that you would never date and saying, "That right there looks better for you." Now, when you use this phrase, make sure to use humor. Why? Because humor is a great way to break the ice and create a relaxed atmosphere. So make jokes, laugh at her jokes, and show that you have a playful and fun-loving side. Also show her that you're interested. This will send mixed signals. You can also use body language to tell a different story. So make eye contact, smile, and use open body language to show that you're interested and engaged. Lean in when she talks, nod your head, and use touch sparingly but effectively, such as a gentle touch on the arm or hand. Phrases like these, followed by the gesture stated earlier, elicit curiosity from women. It makes them want to assess your level and experience. But more importantly, it shows her that you're not desperate, which is how she wants you to be, by the way. Number 3, you're falling in love with me right now, aren't you? It's a great way to flip the script on a woman. Accusing the girl of flirting with you or falling for you can be fun and exciting, and it's a great way to build sexual tension. This tactic implies that you know she has a sexual side and is an emotional being, and you are comfortable exploring that side with her. Now, she might want to pull different moves here, but you've got to be alert to notice them. If she challenges you or compliments you, imply that you know she has sensual intentions. For example, you could say, "Oh, look, you're trying to flirt with me. So adorable." Or, "I know what you're up to, but I'm not that easy," with a playful tone. You have to understand that this tactic can open up to flirting really quickly and create a fun little game to play. If she likes it, she can run with it and continue flirting with you. And if she's not interested, she can pretend to deny it and change the subject. Now, it's really important to use this tactic sparingly and only when you're comfortable with the person you're flirting with. Make sure to read social cues and adjust your behavior accordingly. If she seems uncomfortable or uninterested, it is important to respect her boundaries and to back up. Number 4, stop undressing me with your eyes. It's making me uncomfortable. Of course, you want to say this with a smile, so hopefully she gets it. Now, this is another sexually charged phrase that'll get her thinking of different things and plans. So, what should you do? Here's what you can do, and it's called purposeful misinterpretation. This simply means that you misinterpret what she's saying for something sexual and poking fun at her choice of words. The goal is to pretend like she's saying something a lot more flirtatious or explicit than she actually is, while implying that she was intentional about it. Here's how to do this properly. When she says something that can be interpreted as sexual, misinterpret it for something even more explicit. For example, if she talks about a pillow fight, you could say, "I know what a pillow fight really means. You don't fool me." From this point, you can continue to playfully create a fun dynamic between you and her. Now, this phrase can also help build sexual tension and create a more engaged and enjoyable conversation. However, it's important to use this tactic sparingly and only when appropriate. Make sure to read social cues and adjust your approach accordingly. 5. So you're one of those. So this is a phrase that can really, you can throw in when she says some kind of cliche. For instance, if she says, "Men are naturally unfaithful," you can lean in, smile, and say that. At this point, she might want to get defensive and try and claim that she's special, and that's exactly how you want her to feel. You see, your ability to feel insecure with her look, her intelligence, is the sign that you're well on your way to conquering her. Now, of course, you can always use good humor to not get argumentative with her if she's really that kind of girl. But why humor? Because women love a man who can make them laugh, and using humor can be a great way to break the ice. Remember, the key to using humor while flirting is to keep it light and playful. Don't use humor to make fun of her or to belittle her in any way. Instead, use it as a way to connect with her and create a positive and enjoyable conversation. You're probably asking, why do I keep bringing up humor? Well, it's because two people flirting should not be boring, argumentative, or in any way having a difficult conversation. It should be lighthearted and allow for sneaky phrases like that. Most times when I use this phrase when flirting, the girls often get curious or defensive, like, "What those?" So should you tell her, "What those?" Of course not. But why? Because what those doesn't matter. What matters is you keep the conversation light and mysterious, and girls love that. There. Don't say anything, that look is cute, and you're gonna mess it up. I once pulled this on a girl out of nowhere, and she could not help but laugh. It's nice when you pull this on someone who gets it, because that means she probably has a good sense of humor. That's one connection you want to get right. I should mention that if you pull this on a girl who's having a bad day or someone who's in a bad mood, you're gonna get the mean stare, so watch out. But besides that, if it's done right, you can use it to pull a trick called building anticipation. It involves creating a sense of excitement and anticipation between you and the woman you're flirting with. So, how do you do this? You can either talk about things you want to do together in the future or share secrets and personal stories. Also, you can create a sense of mystery and intrigue around yourself, which is my personal favorite with this phrase. Now, depending on the level of understanding and the connection between you two, you can also build up to physical contact. Of course, you gotta go slowly, starting with like a touch on the arm or shoulder before you move on to more intimate touches. Remember, the key to building anticipation is to create a sense of excitement and curiosity around yourself and the potential relationship between you and that woman you are flirting with. As time goes on, if you've managed to build that anticipation in her, then you might even proceed to ask some sexual questions. Sexual questions like asking her about her sexual preferences and experiences. With a question like that, you can create a sense of intimacy and get her positively thinking about sex. However, you should start with less personal and easier questions to answer, such as how comfortable are you with PDA, or you ever gone skinny dipping? As she becomes more comfortable and continues to be vulnerable with you, you can ask more and more intimate questions to get her to, open up about her sexual side. If she's responsive, then from that point, all you're going to have to do is listen actively and respond positively to her answers. Now, as you know, you have to be very careful because all of this has to be done with precision. You have to make sure to read social cues and adjust your plans accordingly. So if she seems uncomfortable or uninterested, it's important to respect her boundaries and to back off. Number 7, you know what? You're trouble. I use this one a lot because it's so effective when it's done right. It's such a nice, teasing phrase that implies that she's dangerous. Women like to think that, and yes, many of them are actually dangerous and toxic. If that's the case, you should cut ties and burn that bridge. But anyways, you should remember to deliver this phrase with a teasing look to show that you're not intimidated by her at all. So, when she feels complimented on one hand and curious on the other, you've got her. And at that point, she knows that you're not afraid to establish a flirtatious dynamic. You see, by teasing a woman like this, you demonstrate confidence, a sense of humor, and a comfortable and secure sense of self. That can also help establish a more playful and exciting dynamic between you and your woman. It makes it easier to take the conversation further and further, and that's where you want to take it. Now, if your girl hears that phrase and starts getting messy, you need to find a way to use that in a lighthearted manner. Yes, always remember to use your environment when flirting with a girl. But why? Well, first of all, you might come up with some special gems. And secondly, this way she knows that you're present and you're in the moment with her. Anyways, when your woman starts acting a bit messy or uptight, you can tease her by saying something like, "She's very hostile when she hasn't taken her nap." Or you can say, "I love it when you talk mean to me." Both these lines address her mood, but the humor really takes away any sort of hostility. When flirting with a woman using this phrase, make sure to approach her with the attitude of making her smile, no matter how resistant she may seem. If you can crack her protective barrier and make her laugh, you're probably going to win her over. Number 8. You usually hang out at the library, don't you? First off, you have to remember the only purpose of these lines is to set the tone of the interaction, and you're having fun and you're being playful. You've got to own whatever you say when you say it, and that means no backing down if she doesn't get it right away. Say it again and own it. Now, this particular phrase is best used when you're in a good flow with a woman and she's talking a lot. The 25-75 rule is a great guideline to follow here. That is, if she talks 75% of the time, you talk 25% of the time. The more she talks, the more she's going to reveal about herself and give you material to work with. Here's some good follow-up lines if she continues in that flow. You just making this up as you go along? I don't know what you're on, but I'll want some of it. Now, you've got to be very subtle here. Subtlety is crucial to you not appearing creepy or pushy. Being overly forward too soon can make the woman feel uncomfortable or uneasy. The reason for the uneasiness varies for every woman and can be due to feelings of shame or the fear of presenting herself as too messy or coming on too strong or too quickly. This subtle phrase shows her that you are attracted to her for more than just her physical appearance. While physical attraction is important, it's also crucial to build a connection and to show interest in her personality. So stay subtle by referring to her brains with a reference to the library. But why be subtle? Well, you don't want to come on too strong from the beginning. I mean, I just said that, but also it's pretty intuitive. Also, this phrase lets you know that you're not only interested in her body. You want to show her that you're also interested in getting to know her on a deeper level. You want actual substance in a woman. A subtle phrase like this demonstrates social awareness and experience, and it just takes away any notions of desperation on your part. Flirting requires subtlety and suggestive remarks, and this is because coming on too strongly from the start can make a woman assume that you lack social experience. You haven't had many interactions with other women. You know, just because she might see you and instantly think, "Yeah, I could see flirting with this guy," doesn't mean that she's just gonna instantly respond to whatever you do positive. Of course, there is still a game being played, and you have to play it well. So just remember to follow this process gradually. You can build up to more sexual conversations in no time from this, but before you get to that level, you have to show her that you do know how to engage in flirtatious conversations and you are aware of social cues. You're not a psychopath, and you're actually, yes, a charming guy who knows how to play around with it, to tease and to push and push and push the envelope just a little bit every time. It's great. Number 9. Did you just come over here to flirt with me? This line is a step up from setting the tone and can only be used when you're deeper into the conversation. This cheesy line suggests that she's interested in you or hitting on you, and they're meant to be delivered as it becomes clear that you're hitting on her by reversing the rules. You can take an awkward situation and make it funny and comfortable for everybody. From this, the conversation can move on to sexual questions. By asking sexual questions here, you can get her to open up about her sexual side. You can create a sense of intimacy, and you can turn on her fantasy. This just increases the likelihood that she'll consider getting down with you. From this point, you can playfully tease her, thereby building a connection and creating a playful atmosphere. Just make sure to keep it light and avoid the crossing that line into meanness or disrespect. You can also drop some compliments here. But why? Because compliments are a great way to show that you're interested and attracted to her. You can simply focus on specific aspects of her appearance or personality to compliment her. At this level, you and the girl are obviously having fun. Then you can also create shared experiences. Shared experiences such as, I don't know, a fun night out or a shared hobby. Doing this can help build a strong connection and to create lasting memories. And maybe if she's the type that's really into you, you can drop lines like, "Are you a piece of art? Because I would love to nail you up on my wall." That's a very suggestive statement, and it should only be used if there's some visible, clear flirtation happening. Number 10. Do I look like a piece of meat to you? How should you deliver this line? There's a lot of different ways to do it, but all the good ones involve a confident smile and a look that says, "I know you thought about it." As I said earlier, when saying highly suggestive lines like that, you have to own it. That's a little thing we say in the acting world. If you don't full send, it just sounds extra dumb. So, confidence, deliver, you know? But then, you should understand that flirting uses a technique called push-pull, where you initially show interest in the woman, but then you pull away by pointing out a flaw or something that turns you off. This dynamic creates a sense of uncertainty and intrigue, making her wonder whether you like her or not, or just keeping her at the edge of her seat. As I said earlier, that's where you want her to be. When she's feeling like that, that's when you really start to build attraction and create a sense of fun and this exciting dynamic with her. Now, all of these lines are absolutely useless if you make any mistakes here. And these big flirting mistakes are using explicit language too early. It's crucial to build that sexual tension gradually and subtly. Using explicit language too early can come off as crude and off-putting and like you just don't got no game. Instead of saying something like, "That outfit is so sexy, you are turning me on so much right now," try something a little more subtle like, "Wow, it's getting a little hot in here," while you're looking at her outfit. That conveys the same message, but in a much more subtle and suggestive way. It actually requires you to be paying attention to you and the conversation. It's layered. You know, the first approach is just so all out there, and it's so classless. You see, professing strong feelings to a female acquaintance or a coworker can be overwhelming and awkward. It's better to talk about attraction in the moment. For example, if you're out with a coworker and there is a spark, focus on the present moment and the connection you're feeling rather than bringing up past feelings. The third mistake is being overly aggressive. It's important to be confident, but being overly aggressive is just off-putting. So make sure you read social cues and adjust accordingly. Another mistake is making assumptions. You have to avoid making assumptions about her interests, desires, or boundaries. Instead, ask questions and listen actively to her responses. This shows that you're genuinely interested in getting to know her. By avoiding these common flirting mistakes, you can build a stronger connection and create a more enjoyable time. So that's it, dudes. 10 flirty sentences that drives women wild. Trust me, if you can get them right, you're gonna have that girl obsessed with you. Now, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'd love to help. Or we'd love to help. It's not just me in here. And also, you can learn more in the next video. See ya.